Hello friends, welcome back. I am Trilochan. Let's continue with Python series. In the previous tutorial, we discussed errors and exceptions in Python. In this tutorial, we will discuss what is an iterator and how iterator works and how you can build your own iterator using the iter and next methods. Okay, the iterator in Python is an object that can be iterated, an object which will return data one item at a time. Okay, if I will tell you technically, Python iterator object uses two special methods, iter and next, collectively called the iterator protocols. Let me show you an example on this. Okay, so here let me take one list which is built in container in Python, and not only list and tuple, strings, all these are iterables. Iterable means the object is like we will create a iterable object so that it can be iterable and iterate. Okay, so let me create here one list. Here my list equals to, here you can take 1 2 3 comma 4, you can take one more 5. Okay, so we have the 5 elements in our list. Okay, we can print one by one and we can iterate one by one from this list. Okay, for that we need simple, we can do by the for loop, right? In for loop simply we can iterate, but exactly what happened in for loop I will show you that same thing internally. Actually in Python that internally happen, and for loop using this iterator, that means the iter and next method, using iter and next method, for loop can able to iterate all the data. That means the fetch out one by one all the data from this list. Okay, so let me show you here. Very simple, we have to create an object here. So suppose my iter equals to iter of my list. So this function will give the iterator. Okay, we use the next function to manually iterate through all the items of an iterator, and this is an iterator. Okay, when we reach the end and there is no more data to be returned, it will raise the stop iteration exception. So here is the example. Let me show you here. So print of, we can use the next method of my iter. Okay, so let me copy. So we have 5 elements, right? So we need to print 5 times. Here it is. So if I execute this, it will print one by one, means 1 2 3 4 5. Okay, so let me execute this one. Here it is 1 2 3 4 5, and if I try to execute one more time, it will give you an error. So here it is. Let me save it and execute, and this is the stop iteration. It throws a stop iteration exception. Okay, that means we don't have the items. So in for loop I will show you how exactly it working. Actually in a for loop it is a infinite while loop, so I will show you how we can do that. Okay, so in for loop it's a very simple, we can do it, but in while loop exactly what happened, let me show you. Here it is, just we can write while true for making a infinite loop. So let's take try. Okay, here we can print of next my iter. Okay, so here you can print. This is the very easy way, like next method you can print. So in accepts, so in accept you catch a stop iteration and break it. Here you write break. Here it is. So this is very simple. Okay, so let me execute this one. Here it is, the same result, 1 2 3 4 5. Okay, so this for loop also. So instead of writing this iteration, this iter and next method, we can simply write for loop. Okay, write me for item in my list. Here it is, you can print item, right? So we exactly do this, but internally what we learn now, internally it happen, and Python does the same thing for us. Okay, now we will create our own iterator. So building an iterator from scratch is easy in Python. We just have to implement the same iter and next method. Okay, the iter method returns the iterator object itself. If required, some initialization, right, can be performed, and the next method must return the next item in the sequence on reaching the end, and the subsequent call, it must be read stop iteration. Okay, so let me show you here one custom iterator. Okay, so here we can take one class. So the custom class you can take, that is, let me take power of 2. So this is one class we have taken. Okay, so for that we initialize first. Okay, we have to create one initialize method. So it is already, we have discussed about this, right? Maximum, suppose maximum value by default value we have taken 0. So let me define it here. So let me assign self max equals to max, right? Next is we have to write iter and next method, right? For iter, so we have to define the iter now. So here it is, iter self. So for iter method, you have to just create a iterator, right? There is nothing. So we have to write self dot n equals to 0. Here it is, and return self. Here it is. So now we have to define definition here of next, right? We have to define the next method here. So here the condition is if self n, right? If self dot n less than equals to self dot x self dot max, then it will calculate the power of 2. Okay, so we can take another variable, result equals to 2 power of, so we are using the double star to power, right? So self n, right? So next is self plus 1, then return result. Here it is. Then finally we have to else what, raise the stop iteration. This is done. Okay, so this is, we have written the class. Now we have to write and take one object and execute this one the same. Okay, so here we can write down numbers equals to power of, suppose we have to take here, let me take 4. So we can create, suppose x equals to iter. We can call numbers, right? Here it is. So now we have to print with next method. This is the another way we can do it, right? So copy, how many times we can print? The 5 times, because 1 2, the similarly 2, then 4, then 8, then 16, right? So here it is, we can print 5 times. Here it is. So let's execute it. Here it is, x, we have taken iters, right? X of next method. That is the error. It is syntax, invalid syntax. We can, okay, this is how it is. Yeah, very simple. Let me copy and paste 5 times. Let me execute again. Here it is, 1 2 4 8 16. Okay, so this is all about iterator in Python. So I hope you like this video. Please do like, share, comment and subscribe. Thank you so much for watching.